What's up, everybody? Thanks again for stopping by for another edition of March 4th with Mike Bauman. I, of course, am your host, Mike Bauman. Whoever you are, wherever you are listening from, thank you so much for checking out the podcast. If you're a returning listener, I greatly appreciate your continued love and support. And if you're a brand new listener of the show, man, thank you so much for hopping aboard that pirate ship. You can follow me on Instagram at March 4th Pod, on YouTube at March 4th Pod. The links to all of my stuff are in the podcast description. So that means if you made it here, then you found us somehow. And I truly appreciate each and every one of you checking out another edition of the March 4th with Mike Bauman podcast. I hope that everybody's doing well, man, as this episode is hitting your eardrums. We are approaching late May, which is cray-cray. But at the same time, again, keep the faith and be kind to one another is something that I say at the end of every episode as a tribute to my grandfather. But I'm going to say it at the beginning of this one because May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And for those of you who are new to this podcast and this program, the meaning behind the name March 4th is perseverance and moving forward and overcoming obstacles, trials, and tribulations that you go through in life. Pushing through fear, battling your demons, and getting to a better place, man. And the conversations that I share on this podcast are all people who are chasing their dreams, pushing through difficult times, overcoming, and it's all done in the hopes that when it hits your eardrums, it inspires you to do the same in your life, whatever your dreams are, whatever your aspirations are, man. So in honor of it being Mental Health Awareness Month, man, I just want to say, make sure you check in on yourself, make sure you check in on your friends, your family, your loved ones. We all have smartphones, man, which means everybody's only a text or a phone call away. And it's important to stay in touch with people and to make the most of our time while we're here. Not to put a damper on this show, but not only with it being Mental Health Awareness Month and how much that means to me on a personal level, not just with the theme of the show, but I've been open on the show about, my struggles with anxiety and obsessive compulsive tendencies, panic attacks, the things that I've battled through the last few years of my life. Ironically, I don't know if I should say ironically, but, while I've been building this podcast on a personal level, I went through a lot, with a difficult breakup and people around me passing away. And so, persevering, moving forward, mental health, all those things mean a lot to me on an individual level. And so, being able to tie it into the theme of this show and have the conversations that I have with the guests on this show, it's really important to me. And in addition to that, man, it's been a tough few days. One of my best friends lost his mom on Mother's Day. He just lost his dad a few weeks before Christmas in 2021. So he's lost both of his parents now, within, less than 2.5 years of each other. And, I'm doing all right, but, my heart's heavier doing this episode just because, we've known each other for 22 years. Both of his parents were in my life for a long time. They're, both wonderful people. They were great parents. They were great grandparents to their grandkids, family-oriented people, God-centered people. I love and miss them. And so, I want to dedicate this episode to Colette. We love and miss you. And to my buddy Dave, man. One of the silver linings in tragedies is that it brings the people that those folks left behind, their loved ones and their family and their friends. It brings those people together. So, obviously, I wish it was under different circumstances, but I'm looking forward to spending some time with all of them and celebrating her life in a few days. But that being said, it's at the forefront of my mind with this show, man. Like I said, with it being Mental Health Awareness Month. And again, I just, it, that loss, it's one of several, and I'm not saying this is a martyr. I'm just being real here. It's one of several deaths, numerous deaths, that's been, in my circle, since 2021. And it's just weird. I'm just getting to that age now where, people aren't around anymore. And so, it's just a reminder, man, to make the most of your time while you're here. you know, check in on your friends, check in on your family. It's really surreal because I just saw her when I was home for Easter. We got a chance to meet up for brunch, and she came, and my mom came, and usually when I go home, my buddy Dave, he works nights, and so a lot of times we end up catching up over some breakfast or some brunch. And I remember he texted me that his mom was going to come, that Colette was going to come, and so my mom came, and it was really good to spend time with her. But I had no idea that was going to be the last time I saw her. You know what I mean? Um, so I'm thankful, and I'm grateful by the grace of God that I got to have that moment with her before her untimely passing. But it's just a reminder, man. You don't know when the last time you see somebody is going to be the last time you saw them. You know what I mean? So make the most of your time while you're here, not just with what you want to do and the things you want to accomplish, but with the people that are in your life and the company that you keep. If there's anything you can do to squash any beef you have with anybody, make amends, make peace with each other. We don't know how long we're going to be here, man. And it's just so important to make the most of these moments that we get, because before you know it, we're dust and memories. And I know that might sound a little morbid, but it's true. It is true, man. I remember being 14 years old. I remember when Dave and I first started to become really good buddies back in freshman year of high school, and it seems like it was yesterday, and it was 22 years ago now, man. So make the most of your time while you're here, man. So this episode goes out to Colette, the whole Nowak family. I love you guys. Speaking of making the most of your time while you're here, and I know this is a hard left, and again, I didn't want to put a somber note on things, but I got a heavy heart while I'm doing this one, y'all, and I love those guys so much. But in terms of making the most of your time and chasing your dreams, pushing through difficulties, self-doubt, transitions in life. This week's guest, man, is a guy I have a lot of respect for. He is somebody who's chasing his dreams. He is a repeat guest on March 4th. He is none other than SlowMo of UA the Duo. Shout out to UA the Duo and the whole UA the Duo camp. Shout out to Wally, his brother, who is the other half of UA the Duo. SlowMo is an excellent rapper, man. He's based out in Utah. And this dude is a hustler, man. He's a beast on the mic. He's hardworking, just like his brother, just like their whole camp. And he came out with a solo record back in March called Growing Pains, which is a little bit different because, as I mentioned, him and his brother are UA the Duo, and it was a new challenge for him. It was a new experience. And the record is really awesome, man. The title "Growing Pains," like it's an introspective record. There's some upbeat bangers on there for sure, but there's a couple of between the intro, like the interlude in there. It talks about, and even some of the songs, pushing through, self doubt, chasing your dreams, overcoming. I mean, it's a really awesome listen. He dropped it on even.biz, and we talk about why he did that, using that service, how it really supports the artist. And again, from the title track "Growing Pains" to "Time to Be Alive," "Back Against the Wall," "In Due Time," "I'm on My Way." Even like I said, the intro, the outro, the interlude in the record. It's a dope listen front to back, man. And SlowMo reached out to me when it dropped. I listened to it multiple times. I loved it. He teamed up with Demrick again, who's worked with UA Duo in the past on In Due Time, which UA the Duo re-released on April 17th, right around the time we actually talked to do this episode. And Wally, his brother, is on that one too. And so it was just really cool to talk to him about his headspace on this record, the challenges, and the new experiences that came with doing a solo album, and the topics on it, man. Like I said, just all the themes that I touched on in the beginning of perseverance, moving forward, what this show is all about. Spending time with your loved ones, how much family means. It's all part of this episode, man. So without further ado, I'm gonna shut my big yapper and give you guys my conversation with SlowMo from UA the Duo. Here it is. Well, SlowMo, thanks for coming back on, man. It's always great catching up with you. I think I go back with UA the Duo to 2021. I think might have been the first time I had y'all on. So thanks for coming back, man.
Yeah, the COVID years, huh? Thank you for having me back, bro.
Yeah, you guys stay busy, man. And like we were talking before the jump, I definitely respect the hustle, but also the work that you guys put in the talent that you have on the microphone, man. For everybody listening, Growing Pains just dropped in the beginning of March, and you hit me up and I checked it out, and you released it on a site called even.biz. So there's a lot to talk about, but I really dug the record, man. There's a lot of positive vibes in that. There's a cool interlude in the middle, which kind of deals with like self-doubt and kind of like, the journey of chasing your dreams, which is
Right.
tied into the theme of this show, man. So there's so much I want to talk about, but just first tell me how you're doing, man, because I know you guys stay pretty busy. You just did a photo shoot, right? Were you guys out in, was it San Fran? Is that where you were?
We were in no, the shoot was in Vegas. So we did a shoot in Vegas. It was for we did like 3 videos, bro, in like 24 hours. It was crazy. It was so much work that and we were there in such for such a short amount of time, but we would like had to make it work. And we were there with an artist from the Bay. Um, and so we were like, we only had a limited amount of time together, so we're like, let's do this. And then we were just in San Fran, I think like a week or two ago, like a weekend or 2 weekends ago, and that was for a show, for the first show of our tour, the chemistry class tour, which is what we're currently on right now.
Nice. I was gonna say I was wondering. I was like, I thought there was like a San Fran story in there, a San Fran post. So I got it mixed up. But yeah,
Yep.
you stay busy, man. But I guess just as a place to start, dude, because you guys had singles that you dropped in 2023 as well. But Growing Pains, man. Again, I really dug the vibe. I was literally just listening to it again on my workout. I think I've listened to it now like probably 4 or 5 times all the way through. And there's
Oh,
a great
thank.
Oh, you're welcome, man. Yeah, there's a great flow to the record. But in terms of the releasing it on even.biz, is that something where it's like it all goes to the artist? Tell me a little bit about releasing it through that channel, because I thought that was cool how you put it out like that.
Yeah, yeah. So I came across even.biz because of La Russell. I don't know if you've heard of La Russell. But I checked it out, and then I saw a couple of my peers were also using it. Dizzy Wright's using it. And so when I saw him using it, I'm like, man, there has to be something to this, So I did dig into it a little deeper, and yeah, it's exactly what it is. It's a platform where everything goes directly to the artist. So they take nothing. It's crazy. Like they take no cuts. They allow you to use their website to, upload your music, stream it. They finally have an app for it, which when I dropped it, they didn't even have an app, but now they have an app. And it was so cool because we invested so much time uh and resources into this project. And so seeing an instant return as an artist, it's such a good feeling, bro. And it even it inspires you and motivates you to like, all right, what's next? What else are we gonna work on? So it's pretty cool, bro. I definitely appreciate even.biz. So if you're an artist and you're listening to this and you want to give it a shot, if you feel like you have quality, use even.biz. I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, the flow of the record turned out great too, man. I
Oh,
really dug it. I love the intro, and then you go right into Growing Pains. It's hard to pick favorites, but listening to it a few times, I think in due time, Growing Pains, I'm on my way. Like those, I would say those ones were definitely ones that stuck out. But even like, Racketeer, Time to Be Alive, Back Against the Wall, like it's a great record. And what I love about it too, man, and it kind of it's just kind of cool how the universe works, where I really feel like it's even tied into the theme of this show, March 4th, of perseverance and moving forward. The intro kind of goes into sort of, I feel like the mode of the record, but then the interlude after the first three tracks is kind of dealing with self-doubt and chasing your dreams. And man, I've been at this for 5 years, and if I quit, I could do something else, but then I'm kind of starting over. Talk to me and the people a little bit about your mindset going into this one, man, because it really turned out well front to back. And I thought it was kind of a cool look at like it was kind of like introspective rhyming on this one.
Thank you, bro. For that's exactly what we were going for. As far as the flow, like we really prided ourselves in making sure that it flowed well. We compared it a lot to like the great albums that we've came to know and love. Ice Cube, he was big on doing that with War and Peace, and so uh the flow, the narration, we just wanted it all to be like a legitimate industry um an industry style record, and so I'm glad that you liked it. It makes me happy, it really does. um Looney played a big part in this, bro. Like working with one solo producer, like if you're an artist and you're listening to this, I've came a long way from searching on YouTube, YouTube beats, SoundCloud beats, Beat Stars, you name it. I was there searching. I'm pretty sure some people out there have a song on the same beat that I have, because that's what I was doing. And so now that we've came, 5 years into the game, and a lot of doubt definitely goes into it. Am I going the right way? Am I spending my time in the right places? Am I spending my money in the right places? Because ultimately that's what it takes. And uh yeah, when we sat down and mixed and mastered the record and did like that final playback, we me and Looney just kind of had this moment of like, fuck yeah, this is what we wanted. This is exactly what we wanted. Which is rare for me, bro, because I'm such a perfectionist when it comes to my music. And this time I kind of let it go. I let my feelings go a little bit more. You can kind of tell in the way that I rhymed, and kind of the stuff that I talked about. I talked about bunking with my brothers, my entire childhood up until I was a teenager. I didn't have a room until I was a teenager, so like I talked about those struggles of being like a first generation American, like having no ties to this country whatsoever. So it's like building from the ground up, and so a lot of pain, sweat, and tears definitely went into this project, bro. And so I'm hoping that everyone else feels the same way as you did, where it's like they didn't feel like they wasted their money and they got a good project from us, and working with Dizzy and working with Demrick on this was crazy, man. I still have no ways of describing how that was.
Yeah, man, it turned out great. I feel like I haven't had a chance to listen to it in the car yet. I had it in the earbuds first, but I know it's gonna bump in the car too, man. And even the beats, like I feel like for you guys, for some reason, for me, like the piano driven tracks that you guys have and that Looney puts together, those are always ones that I love, man. Um, and that hook and I'm on my way, and like I just the way that one came out, and like it's got that cool kind of like it's like new old school. You know what I mean? It's like that
Right.
song you could have played it in 1994 and it would still sound dope, and it still sounds new and fresh in 2024, man.
Thank you, bro. Man, that's what we go for as a record label. It's like now that we have, Looney taking care of the beats, me and Wally taking care of, vocals, bars. We got Juice taking care of hooks. So like everyone plays their part, and so we're all able to like really hone in on like what we do best. And so this is what we get. And so one thing we talk about is we want to make records and not songs, and we want to make records that, just like you said, feel timeless and that you could continue to listen to now and 10 years, and so on and so forth. We definitely have strayed away from like trying to follow these trends and trying to do what what you hear is on the radio, because most of that stuff paid placements anyways. And so we're like, let's go for what's really gonna like leave a mark. And so this is the project that kind of solidified that for us, and we're like, all right, this is what we're gonna continue to do. So thank you, bro. Thank you.
You're welcome, man. Yeah, you kind of read my mind because that's where I was going as far as the albums. Because, we've seen the others. Because I feel like hip hop was early on it as far as the singles and the mixtapes and the EPs, right? I feel like hip hop was kind of doing that in this streaming generation that we're in before the other genres. Maybe I'm speaking out of school, but I feel like they were kind of the first genre to go singles, hit people with the single, and then release an EP or release an album. And now you see everybody's doing that, kind of like what you're talking about, whether it's metal, rock, pop, like it's the single and they'll trail the singles up until the album release. But I do think there's still that listener, guys like us who love music, where you remember those albums and you want to hear the album. Not that singles aren't cool, and it's kind of the nature of the beast, like you said. It's kind of the way things are now with people's attention
Right.
span and stuff. But I still think there's something to be said for putting together a good listen, whether it's between 30 minutes and 50 minutes, because I feel like we kind of get like the opposite ends of the spectrum. You either get like, artists who do like a long album, or you get the single, 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 and then it gets released the full 10 track. And I feel like what you guys did was in the middle of that. You guys were like, nah, we're gonna do like a good, like, I don't even know what the runtime is on it. It's probably around like 30 some minutes, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
right around a half hour. I think you're right.
yeah, and I think that's perfect too, like the length of the songs and everything, man. So yeah, I'm excited for you guys. And like I said, I don't know what it is. I dig your music, but those piano driven beats, for some reason, I just feel like both of your flows, you and your brother, like they just go so well with those, man.
Thank you, bro.
But yeah, and the authenticity that you were talking about, and talking about your roots and your upbringing and being a little bit more vulnerable. Was it tough to go that direction? I mean, not that you've not been vulnerable on the mic before, but I do think, when you're talking about being, first generation and coming to this country and like you said, bunking, and I can relate to that because I shared a room with my brother till he went to college. So
Yeah.
I didn't have my own room till I was
No,
6. I was a junior in high school, man. I was 16 years old, so I can relate to that too, sharing a room with my brother Greg. But yeah, the direction to go to those places, when you were first kind of conceptualizing this record with your brother and with Looney and everybody, like what got you in that direction to go, hey, I just kind of want to talk about sort of this experience and coming to this country, being vulnerable as an artist, the struggles with chasing your dreams, because it's all kind of wrapped into one in this record.
yeah, yeah. It's crazy because there's not one thing that I can point to that was like, all right, yeah, this is the reason why I went that direction. But I feel like when as Looney was like presenting these like instrumentals to me, um, like there was just certain ones that were like standing out, right? And so we made Growing Pains, the original, the first song off the album. That was supposed to be a collaboration for Mark Battles. So Mark Battles was originally supposed to be on that song, but he picked a different song that he liked. And so that hook spoke to me so much, bro, that I'm like, yo, Juice, is it cool if I throw this on my album? And he's like, oh, what? You want this for your album? And so he was like happy that I even asked him. And so he kind of laid that foundation for me, bro. And I know Juice, he's gone through a lot of shit himself. So it was just like perfect, bro. And then I was able to just kind of do my thing on it, speak what I needed to speak. And then the songs just kind of came about that way. And the next thing you know, we're like, hey, we could kind of see the direction in which it's going. And so once we had like a few, that's when we knew we're like, all right, we got to keep this going. How can we tie it all together? And then that's when the narration came in. And so it was like a big puzzle, bro. You just kind of like, you're putting it together, you don't really know what you're putting together, but then like the more pieces you have, you're like, oh shit, this is all right, perfect. I like this. And so then you just kind of go full steam ahead, you know, because you know it's what you want. And so I'm definitely proud of this piece, bro. Like usually I nitpick at my work even after it's out. And this time it's like I have no regrets. I put it all on the line and I'm happy it went the way that it did.
Yeah, and was is this one was under the your slow-mo imprint, right? Like was this considered like a solo release or is it still kind of like UA the duo?
Yeah, no, it is. It was my first solo release. So it's released under SlowMo of UA the Duo. The account I think that we had with Even is still listed under UA. You know, we do it just for branding purposes, just so it all comes back to the same team, you know. But when Wally drops, I believe his will be the same way where it'll be like Wally, but it'll still be tied in with the UA the Duo account. But yeah, this is my first. Actually, this is my second official solo album that I've released or project. But yeah, shout out to Even.biz. When we did with the In Due Time, that one, since Wally and I are on that record, that one is being released as a UA single. So I guess certain songs from there, and I don't think Wally was on many of them. So yeah, for the most part, it is going to be a slow mo. It'll stay as a slow mo project for sure.
Yeah, because I know in the past, right, you guys, like you said, you've done work before and Wally's done work before, like I think separately outside of like UA the duo, like you've released stuff under like your own under your own names, right? But in terms of that undertaking, and like you said, obviously he's still involved in the work and you guys are bros and you cheer each other on. But what was that undertaking like compared to doing the Bud Brothers stuff and the kind of and the work that you guys have done before?
Oh man, it was a little bit of a challenge, bro. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm so used to like hitting Wally up. You know, if I'm stuck on something, bro, see if you can come up. Yeah, see what you can come up to. You know, see come up to something to this. And Wally will usually be like, "I got you, bro. Don't worry about it." He'll send me some voice memo, or sometimes he'll just record it and send it to me, and I'm like, yes, thanks, bro. And I didn't have that option this time, you know, because it's a slow mo project, and so I really had to just spread my wings and fly, bro. And that's exactly what I did. I didn't look back. I didn't look to the sides. I just kept looking forward, and I kept my head down and writing and writing and writing, and the challenge was it helped me grow as an artist, as a songwriter, you know. Um, so yeah, I definitely appreciate the fact that we all agreed on doing solo projects for once, because I think everyone probably had different experiences working solo. You know, I'm sure Wally's experience is a little different because I had nothing to do with this project. It's just been him and Looney, and same thing with my project. It was just like me and Looney behind closed doors. No one really knew what was going on. They knew we were working on a project, but they weren't really hearing anything until Juice heard his song, you know, Growing Pains. He hadn't heard it. He just knew he laid a hook and that's it, you know. And so um, I think the experience was something that I will cherish and that I definitely will. I don't know if I'll look forward to doing it again, but if I have to, I will.
Yeah, and I thought the narration was cool too. And I wanted to ask you, was that you with just like a tone over it or like an undertone over it, or was that somebody else? Because I felt like the narration kind of it made it almost like a storyline too. It tied it together really well.
Oh, good question, dude. No, bro, the narration was it was a guy that I met. Um, I think I met him on Facebook, and he's local to here. And I met him because, or I came across him because he was like doing a video. I guess people had been like talking crap about him on TikTok, saying that he used like a voice modifier. and he like uploaded a video talking, saying like, "No, this is my real voice." And but basically, his voice really is. So his name's Miguel, and I reached out to him, and I'm like, "Yo, man, your voice it's crazy. I'd love to have you in the studio. You know, we do podcasting and all this stuff." So he came to our studio to do some podcasting with his homie. And dude, his voice is really that deep, bro. It's fucking crazy. Like you hear him talk, but it like the voice doesn't match the person. And it's just like it's just the whole trip, man. And so we didn't use no voice modifiers. It's really the homie Miguel talking to you with his real voice, and it just happens to be that deep.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, because it's really cool. And again, because at first it sounds like it's been like modulated or whatever, like because you hear that on records all the time where something's like slowed down or it's like, the voice is like people speak through one of those like machines and it comes out, so it like it hides your actual voice. Uh, but that's sick. Shout out to him, man. And just exploring that further. And thanks again, SlowMo, for doing this, man. It's cool. It's cool talking about this because I really genuinely enjoyed the record, man.
Thank you, bro.
As far as including the intro and the interlude and everything, like, and talking about that struggle with chasing dreams and everything, I think people, and I explore this theme a lot on my podcast, and it has a lot to do with March 4th, and I deal with it in my own life, pushing through anxiety and obsessive
Yeah.
compulsive tendencies and stuff and trauma that you go through, whether it's heartbreak or death, like all these things that we all experience as part of life, right? And I think life is kind of learning how to cope with it, but then also how do you translate it, right? And for guys like us, we have this creative outlet, like you guys, as as musicians, as rappers, me as a podcaster. But you explore the self-doubt in this record. Um, what's been some of the lows and highs on the journey, and the motivation to share that on this record. You mentioned the beats that Looney was giving you, but I think it was really cool that you explored that on this record because I'm sure there's a lot of people who can relate to the struggle with chasing their dreams. So for you on this path, man, as SlowMo the rapper, like what has this journey been like? If you can even reflect a little bit.
Oh, dude. I, no one's asked me stuff like this before, so I appreciate it because it really makes me like dig deep. Um well, bro, I mean, first of all, like I grew up kind of watching my brother, try to do it on his own, and so when I started, I knew I needed a team, and I've always heard like, hey, you need a good team, it's how you make it work. So luckily my brother, he followed in the same footsteps. But I think a big struggle for me is self-doubt. You know, even like it's nice to have the people that I have around me now because they give me a lot more credit than I give myself. And again, it's because of the self-doubt. Sometimes I feel like I'm not bringing enough to the table, or I'm not doing enough. Hey, a day's gone by, I haven't done anything to move this forward. And so a lot of it is mind games, for sure. Getting your head right, being in the right state of mind is important. Um, a big struggle for me also has been being able to balance the time of how much time I put into this and how much time I put into being with like my wife and my daughter. And so that's been like definitely I think one of the biggest battles, because it's like I got to do an all-nighter at the studio, 4 a.m., 5 a.m. And it's like, how do you explain that away, And so if you got to do it time and time again, you could see it gets old, And so sometimes I gotta pick and choose my battles, And so, am I gonna let the guys down, or am I gonna let my girl down, or am I gonna let my daughter down, or my kid, And so those are all just like real life things that I think an artist goes through, and some artists don't even have kids or aren't even married, so their battles are completely different. And then the other one is getting your foot in the door, getting your first show. Who am I going to talk to? How do I reach out? Um, these are all like little things that you have to go through in order to grow. And sometimes it's more painful to go through them. So you decide not to, and you get stuck in the same place. And so I chose to endure the pain and just, I know what needs to be done, and I'm just going to do it, even though I know the pain that comes along with it. You know what I mean? And even like going on tour, that's a whole nother thing. You got to go on tour. You leave your hometown behind, you hit the road, and you're out on the road, and you're just, looking for the next place you're going to play. Where am I going to sleep tonight? You have your hotel, and so this is all stuff where you're like far away from home, and you just got to make it work because you're doing what you love, right? And so at the end of the day, you figure it out as you go, especially you got the gig, let's go play it, and figure out the next move while we're there, and so there's a lot of there's definitely a lot of that goes into it. But I definitely wouldn't change a thing, that's for sure. I'm I grow with it, roll with the punches, and if you let it keep you down, it will. It definitely will. I've seen a lot of people come and go through my years of doing this. People that are very talented, and I'm not scared to admit sometimes I feel like they're a little more talented than I am, but they let it go, and I've just never been that person, bro, to let it go. Once I'm honed in, I'm gonna see it all the way through, and I'm still seeing it through. So I feel like my journey's not done. I don't even feel like I'm halfway there. Like, that's the thing, bro. Like, I still feel so fresh at this. Like, I feel like I can still rumble with the youngsters. Like, anybody that's just coming in and they're hungry, I'm just as hungry, bro. Like, so that's not going away. The drive's not going away. The love's not going away, and it's just the I think it's just the lifestyle at this point, man. Like, the lifestyle that I've created for myself, and when I'm out in public, like my girl, my daughter, like, they get wowed because they're like, wow, so many people know you. And it's like, yeah, I'm out here, I'm not just out here bullshitting, so it's cool, bro. It's cool to get the acknowledgement, it's cool to get the praises, but it's definitely cool to get the experience firsthand and the lessons that come along with chasing your dreams and going after what you feel like is yours. And so I've always felt like when these bigger artists pop up, and they make a name for themselves, I'm always like, I never feel like they're how can I say it? Like, they're superior to me. Like, I never feel that way, bro. I always feel like I can do it just as well as they can. They just happened to catch a break before I did, and I'm still waiting for mine. I'm not. I wouldn't even say I'm waiting for mine. I would say I'm actively looking for my break, because I'm not waiting for it to come to me. I'm looking for it.
I love that, dude. Well, and you can even see and this is why I love doing this, man, because you can even see the excitement in your face when you talk about music. And it's like that I feel like that's the core of whatever drives you. You know what I mean? If you love it, you'll bleed for it. You'll have late nights for it. You'll put in extra work, you know. And I think that's even one of the lines on this record. I'm paraphrasing, but it's like, when you're sleeping, I'm working, you know what I mean? And and I think the alternative, like the older I get too, man, because we all have those moments of self-doubt and anxiety and fear. But then I'm like, I feel like if once you get to the end, and hopefully for us, right, that's a long ways away.
Right.
But I remember my buddy, one of my best buddies, Nate, shout out Nate, said to me one time, he's like, man, when I'm on my deathbed, I don't want to have a belly full of what ifs. And that's
Yeah.
anytime I start to get really anxious, or, the times where I put this podcast down, before I really got back into it 4 years ago, like I didn't feel as complete as a person when I wasn't doing this stuff, when I wasn't getting to talk with people and share their stories. be
Right.
close to music again like I used to when I used to write music features. And it's like the alternative of not going after what you love. And I feel like having to live with that void is way worse than just like going, okay, I got a little bit of anxiousness,
That's
or
facts.
I got a little bit of fear, but not doing it, I feel like is way worse than learning through it and growing through it and being able to look
100%.
back and like go, hey, I did this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%, bro. I agree 100%. I heard something very similar to that, bro. And so I'm the same way. I rather see it through and not regret it, bro. Cause I think that's the worst kind of feeling. Cause there's nothing to fix it. It's just like you just gotta live with it. And I'd rather go through the pain and see what happens.
Well, I'm with you, man. And like you said, your journey's far from over. I mean, you guys have gotten to do a lot of awesome collaborations. But one that I wanted to touch on because literally as we speak today, I mean, when people hear this, it'll be mid-May, but we're recording this in mid-April. It's April 17th today, and you guys just dropped In Due Time, which is off of the record, but you're releasing it to everybody on all the platforms, and that's the one that you guys did with Demrick. And I know this isn't the first time you've worked with them, but talk to me and the people just about what it's been like, not only on this song, but just in general, your relationship with Demrick, because I know he means a lot to you guys, man.
Yeah, yeah. Man, yeah, like you said, this is the second time around that we're doing it. Shout out to the homie Mike. He's Looney's boy, and he's the one that originally bridged the gap between us and Demrick and made that initial connection, and then ever since then, he came out here, we worked on that video with him, and we kind of stayed in touch. I got his number. I'll shoot him a text from time to time if I see he's traveling. Yo, bro, travel safe, man. Good luck at your next show. Just little stuff like that. Not really expecting the response, but just to let them know, like, hey, bro, we're here if you need anything, type of stuff. Because that's the type of people we are. But this record with him was dope because it kind of got initiated while we were on tour with them. So they were doing their tour. It was called It Gets Greater Later, and it was Dizzy Wright, Demrick, Jarren Benton, and so they were all touring together. And so I had hit up Demrick actually, and I'm like, "Yo, man, I see you guys are on tour. I see you guys are doing some shows that are within a reasonable distance from us. Like, how can we get on some of these shows?" And he connected me with their manager. I talked to him for a bit, and then he was kind of like taking a little bit too long for my taste, and so I took it upon myself to just kind of reach out to these individual promoters. Luckily, I already knew a few of them, and so they're like, "Oh yeah, man, we'll get you guys on the show." And so we got on their tour, and the first time we got to link with them was in Elko in Nevada. Um, it was Dizzy. He was like playing pool, and Demrick was like chilling off to the side. You can tell they were tired from traveling, So I made it quick, but I kind of initiated like, hey, when you guys come through our city, maybe we can work on some music. And yeah, sure enough, bro, they came through the city. We did the show with them in the city. It was beautiful. They showed tons of love. Like, hey, how have you guys been? Like they showed that they remembered us, which was dope. Like they're not big timing us over here. Um, and they're like, let's get to work tomorrow. We're here for a whole extra day. I think that's the day that we can get together. And we had already had something going on with Dizzy, and I told Demrick about it, and I'm like, yo, Demrick, we're getting a session with Dizzy tomorrow. Like, if you want to pull up. And he pulled up, bro. He pulled up with Dizzy and Dizzy's brother, and we did our song with Dizzy and at the studio. And then Demrick was like, yo, I had heard a beat that I really liked that you guys had sent to Dizzy. And so he kind of like already had the hook ready, and he's like, check out what I have to it. And I'm like, yo, this is beautiful. Like, let's do it, bro. And so he kind of we were already vibing, and then he pulled it out. I fuck with this beat. This is what I have to it, and we're like, yes. And so we got to like record it there in the studio with him. Like it was dope, bro. Like just vibing with these guys in there, seeing they're not much different than we are. Like their work ethic, their process, like it's very similar. So I was glad to like finally be in there with these guys and see how they work. And they gave us some amazing records, bro. Like I'm really happy with the way the songs came out. And yeah, if you're listening to this, go listen to In Due Time featuring Demrick. It's a great record. It's different than what we normally do, but it's one of those songs that just again you can play it in 10 years and it'll still be a good song, you know. So that's I'm very proud of it for sure. And shout out to Demrick for blessing us on this record too. I already thanked them like 30 times, but thank you again, bro.
Yeah, there's immense positive vibes on that song too. You know what I mean? Like that's a
Yep.
really good one too. And I feel like, it goes with that theme of chasing your dreams and pushing through things, man. SlowMo, this has been awesome, man. Before I officially get you out of here, thank you again so much for your time, bro. It's we gotta catch up more, man. I gotta catch up more with UA the duo, not even for podcasts, but just I appreciate the mutual love support too, man. It's always good talking to you guys. And you mentioned getting to play for people and just having a show recently in San Fran. And that's not the first time you guys have done shows in other cities, man. But what's that process been like just in terms of developing your stage presence, playing for an audience, maybe if they haven't seen you before? What's that experience been like going to new cities, man?
Oh man, that anxiety, bro, that you talk about, that should real, bro. Um, for me, it's not knowing what to expect. You go in like this, bro. You go in blindfolded. You don't know what the layout of the city. You don't know where your hotel's gonna be located at. You don't know where the venue's at. You don't know what it looks like. And so there's like all these questions that you wish you could know, but you don't. Um, but it at the end of the day, bro, it's beautiful, man. I love it. Being out there, it's like so surreal, bro. And then like the amount of love that people show just because they know, like, hey, you guys are only in town for a bit. Like, hey, welcome to our city. Like, we haven't really ran into anybody that's like been a like an asshole or anything, bro. Like everyone showed nothing but love. They know that we're there to do a show, and so they just want to make sure we have a good time in their town while we're there. So the experience has been beautiful. As far as developing our stage presence, bro, that's a growing pain within itself, man. Like we've been booed, we've been cut short from our set times. Like we've been through it, man. Like we've had our good times on stage, and we had our like well, glad that's over with, you know. But uh as but it comes with the territory, you know what I mean? You can't let it get you down. We sure didn't. We learned from it. What were we doing wrong? Why did we get booed? You know, and so we knew the booing wasn't our fault. It was the promoter's fault. But you can't make people sit around for 5 hours and then expect them to be happy if the headliner's not out yet. You know what I mean? So we kind of chucked it up as like it wasn't really us, but we could still learn from it, type of stuff. And I think after just it's kind of like the 10,000 hour rule. You get your hours in, you get your practice in, make sure you're learning as you're going, and make sure, because if you think you know it all, you're gonna block yourself from growing. You know what I mean? But I'm always in that football player state of mind. Like I'm gonna go into this game, I'm gonna do what I know, do what I practice for, but then I'm gonna go back and watch the tape and see what I did wrong so I can fix it for the next one. And so that's how I work, bro. And so as far as stage presence goes, it's still growing, it's still getting better. Um, Once we're on stage, that anxiety, that self doubt, that everything's gone, bro. Like it just disappears. It's like magic, and you're just next thing you know, you got the lights in front of you. and you got the people and you hear the noise and you're like, all right, let's get this. It's time to eat. And yeah, bro, it's a beautiful feeling. So shout out to these states that give us the chance. Shout out to San Francisco. They showed tons of love. We knew the Bay, they're a mecca when it comes to music. They got E40, they got Too Short, they got Mozzie, they got a bunch of big artists out there. And so La Russell, not to, we just talked about him earlier. And so we're like, these people know what they like, they know what they don't like, and so let's make this worth it. And at the end of the day, we had people singing along to our music. We had them chanting UA, and we even had them do a Lab Junkies chant, which is pretty new because we haven't done that, and yeah, it was great, bro. So I'm excited for New Mexico. That's where we'll be at next in a couple of weeks. In May, we'll be in Albuquerque, and so I'm looking forward to that. And then after, we'll be in Vegas, and so I'm looking forward to that too. We'll be in Vegas for a show this time, not a video shoot. So it'll be a new experience.
Yeah, as this will be hitting people's ears, you've got the Vegas show on June 1st, and this will be mid-May as everybody's listening to it. So, and you mentioned you were in Vegas. You guys just did some shoots and stuff there, man. Like,
Yeah,
um, Vegas, I haven't been there yet, but I know it's its own. It's like its own world. It's like its own universe. What have the vibes been like there? Just even in the work that you guys have done there so far, and how excited are you for the June 1st show?
the city that never sleeps, bro. It's true. It's true what they say. Um, Bro, I got there and I had already been up for like, I think I got there and I had been up for like 20 hours, almost a full day, and then we still worked. I was up for like 28 hours, bro, working in Vegas, and no one batted an eye because there was other people that were still awake. It was fucking crazy. Like, it didn't even seem like it was 5 in the morning, bro. Like, it was like people were up, they were moving, they were getting food, getting drinks. Like, holy shit. Um, but yeah, Vegas is a vibe, bro. I love Vegas, man. Like, I like it because of its history back in the, built by the mob, and they had their presence up until not that long ago. But their history is amazing. The vibe there is amazing. Just don't go up and down the neighborhoods because you could take a wrong turn. That's what I learned. There's a lot of bad blocks, but it looks like they've been cleaning up the city. Because I've gone to Vegas a lot because it's only like 5 or 6 hours from where we live, so it's like a quick drive, a quick day's drive. But if you ever go to Vegas, bro, definitely stick to the strip. You'll love it. There's tons to do. There's tons of good food there. Uh, I don't know if you guys have a Church's Chickens, but they got one in Vegas. So try Church's Chickens. I definitely think it's better than Popeyes. I don't know, but if you guys have tried Church's Chickens, let us know if you like it better than Popeyes. Um, but yeah, I can go on about Vegas, bro, for sure. Shout out to Vegas. I'm excited. I'm not excited because we're gonna be back in June, and Vegas is hot as shit. And I think our event is a festival, so I believe it's gonna be outside. So I'm ready, bro. I got my shorts. Don't be surprised if I wear sandals on stage because I'm ready for this heat, man. But I'm ready to go hard in Vegas too. Shout out to Juice. He's the one that lined, and that's the beauty of having a team. Juice, the bag boy, or bro, he lined this one up because he knew the promoter. I believe he's related to the promoter there, and so we were easily able to get on the show. And so it goes to who networking and who because it goes a long ways for sure.
Well, SlowMo, this has been fun, man. I'll get you out of here on this. As somebody who is chasing your dreams and has gone through the highs and the lows, and like you said, that's a bummer getting thrown to the wolves when people have been waiting for 5 hours, man. I can't imagine it. That's yeah, that's tough. But like you said, you made it through it. You guys are working. You just put out a great record. In due time is great, but as somebody who has you explore it with growing pains, like going through the highs and lows and the self-doubt and still chasing your dreams and getting better and working on your craft, being first generation, like you said, in America and coming here and even you guys used to be on the West Coast, right? And then moving to Utah. Like there's so many life experiences, man. What would you pass on to anybody who's listening to this and maybe they're struggling a little bit this year, or there's somebody who's going through that process of chasing their dreams or on the cusp of wanting to do something? What advice would you give them, man, as somebody who's doing
Good
it?
question. Um, there's always gonna be people around you that aren't gonna believe as much in what you're doing as you know. So don't let it rub off on you, because if you do, then it's game over, because there's gonna be a lot more people that are not really going after what they want, and so they'll find a way to, sabotage what you have going on, and so don't let the negativity rub off. Stay focused. Um, Self-doubt is normal, from my and again, I'm thankful for all my opportunities that have came to me because of this. But like from my conversations with like even like the double XL freshman Jarren Benton, like I always thought as like, oh my, that's like a Heisman Trophy for a rapper, and so um I'm like, man, that's so great. And so even like someone like him, he's talked about his self doubts to me, and so uh I was just like surprised that even artists that are already, doing what we want to do, they still go through that. And he even told me, bro, artists that are bigger than me have talked to me and they go through that. And so he's like, it's perfectly normal. Just don't let it ruin you, like don't let it be the reason why you don't pursue what you're going for. And so I think to kind of the takeaway, self-doubt, it's perfectly normal. We all have it. The greatest of the greats have it. The only difference is they don't let it eat away at it. They don't let it eat away at them, and so they just work past it. And the time and the progress will show itself in due time. Go listen to In Due Time featuring Demrick. So yeah, man, to answer your question, that's what I would tell him. Don't let the negativity rub off. It's always gonna be there. The better you can do at cutting it off, great. If you can't, just don't let it rub off on you and stay focused and don't let the self-doubt get to you.
Hell yeah, man. Well, SlowMo, I appreciate the time as always, brother. It's great catching up with you. One more time for the people, I'll put the links in the podcast description. But if they're not familiar with you or UA the Duo, let them know where they can find you, man.
Man, you guys can find us at Spotify, Apple Music, pretty much anywhere that you want to listen to your music at UA the Duo. If you want to find us on YouTube, UA the Duo TV, you just added the TV at the end. If you like me for some reason, you can follow me at SlowMo_UA on any platform, Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, you name it.
All right, man. Thanks again for your time. Go enjoy the rest of your night. Keep doing your thing, bro.
Hey, stay blessed, my brother. Be safe. Peace.
Alrighty, dighty, there you have it. That was my conversation with SlowMo from UA the Duo. Make sure you go follow him on Instagram at SlowMo_UA. The links to all of his stuff will be in the podcast description for this episode. So just scroll down to the bottom of that podcast description, hit those links, and go follow and support my guy SlowMo. You will not be disappointed if you are a fan of hip hop. He and his brother Wally are dope. Once again, go check out his record Growing Pains. It came out back in March. You can get that over at even.biz, a link in the description. And you can check out UA the Duo's catalog wherever you get your music. And once again, the single In Due Time featuring Demrick, which they dropped on April 17th, is also part of the Growing Pains album. All love all the way around, man. I got a ton of respect for these guys. Like I said, it's been a few years since they were first on the pod. I think it might have been back in like 2021, man. So I've known these guys for a minute, and to see what they're doing out in Utah, both with their music, with podcasting, their live shows. They've got a lot of gigs coming up, man, as part of the Chemistry Class Tour Part 2. They've actually got a show coming up in Las Vegas on June 1st. So if you want to take a trip to the Sin City to go see these guys live, make sure you do that. But it's just really cool, man, to see everything that they're building. They've got a great team around them. And again, all the themes of this show, man, perseverance, moving forward, March 4th. I'm not going to rant too much here in the close because I know I had kind of a heavy intro, man. That was a little longer, but yeah, I mean, it was great to learn about the making of Growing Pains, the meaning behind the record, the challenges of it, the experiences of it. Wally's got some heat coming as well, so stay tuned. But I got a lot of respect for these guys, man. You know, like I said, family, pushing through fears, overcoming obstacles, becoming better rappers, becoming better men, building their community, like I said, music, podcasting, all the stuff that these guys are doing, man, it's just really dope. And to be able to collaborate with awesome people like Demrick, and what he's meant to them, man, it's dope. So I'm really excited for the future for these guys, man. So I just want to say directly to SlowMo, thank you so much again, man, for coming on the podcast. It's always great to catch up with you. And I'm a fan, man. I'm a fan of what you're doing. So keep doing it, man. And thank you again for your time. And that's going to be a wrap on this week's episode, y'all. Because like I said, I know the intro was a little heavy, but in all seriousness, man, like I'm the type of dude that sometimes I can overshare, and I try to walk that line between like, okay, is this too personal? Is it not? But again, with it being Mental Health Awareness Month, and just the fact that I'm getting a little older, and just my heart being heavy for one of my best friends and his family and their friends and our friends, and just life is really short, man. So make the most of your time while you're here. Just like SlowMo and Wally, UA the duo, man, chasing their dreams, and putting the work in to make it happen. Like, life is really short. So be good to your family, be good to yourself, be good to your friends, and even people who aren't in your circle, man. Be the first one to extend your hand, hold the door for people. You know what I mean? Like, just be cool, man. Life is short. Like I said, you never know when that last time you're going to be grabbing a bite to eat with somebody is going to be. And I'm glad I had that moment with Colette. And I know she's resting in peace. And, you know, before your time is up, just make the most of it, man. And as a tribute to my grandfather as well, like I say at the end of every episode, keep the faith and be kind to one another. Once again, you can follow me on March 4th Pod on Instagram. You can follow me on YouTube at March 4th Pod. All the links to my stuff are in the podcast description as well. If you did enjoy what you heard and you are a first-time listener, please like, follow, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. I hate begging for this stuff, man, but it goes a long way in getting these conversations out to more people, and that's what I want. I want to put people on to UA the Duo and SlowMo and Growing Pains and their catalog, because it's sick, and they do great work, man. So if you would be so kind, take the time on either Apple or Spotify, whatever service you use, to leave a rating and a review for the show. And even if you don't use those services, if you use Amazon, iHeart, whatever, my show's on there as well. You're listening right now, so obviously you found me. But again, all those things go a long way. And I interact with people as well. So if you want to hit me up on Instagram, I will get back to you. Sometimes it takes me a little bit. I'm trying to get better at that too with my emails and stuff, man. Your boy works during the day too, and I'm a one-man band over here, okay? Got me some slack, all right? No, but for real though, I will get back to you, man. I like to interact with people. Anywho, I'm ranting, and I said I was going to keep the intro or the close short rather, but yeah, man, be good to each other. Mental Health Awareness Month. Check in on yourself, check in on your loved ones. I love you all. Keep the faith and be kind to one another. Courtesy of SlowMo and courtesy of the UA the Duo Camp, this is the single In Due Time featuring Demrick. Peace.
Yeah, UA Demrick, yeah. I done been through a lot. I'ma find my way. I done been through a lot. Yeah, you know how it go. I've been low, I've up the paper, then I make it multiply. Baddie by my side and some smoke in the sky. I'ma get mine, everything in due time. Yeah, you know how it go.
Multiply my winnings using mathematics. I stay working on my craft, people so dramatic. Watch me go sporadic. On the kill streak, is a climbing to the top. Cause the hill's steep, only time I fall back. Landed on some silk sheets, body full of pride. Gotta see through all the trickery. Know it's gonna happen one day. Grinding 24/7, man. I ain't even close Sundays. Keep my faith in God, yeah, I listen to the feng shui. Wanna reach the goal, but there's really only one way. Truth is to be sold, not told. Life is like a game of cards, cause I'm never gonna fold. Sitting on some music that I wanna unload. With another bop, ready for the reload. Yeah, we gotta explode. Do you hear me, tempo? Never seen a team do it like this before,
I done been through a lot. I done been through a lot. I'ma find my way. I done been through a lot. Yeah, you know how it go. I've been low, I've been high. Stacking up the paper, then I make it multiply. Baddie by my side and some smoke in the sky. I'ma get mine, everything in due time. Yeah, you know how it go.
Move correctly, that's all I've been saying lately. Coach, stay reliant, something like old Bessie. These promoters are calling, trying to finesse me. Give me the loot and had a deposit ready. Didn't believe me, but now they see me with them. I had to go through the process, never give in. To move forward, you gotta do what they can. I ain't never switching up, cause I'll always extend a hand. Yeah, you know how it go. We had to knock the door. Kept applying for the pressure, had to crack the code. Chisel and a hammer. I won't stop, I'ma keep climbing up the ladder. I don't leave it up to chance, cause I'm the better. Taking losses, place apart, but I would rather get the dub for the whole team. I'ma be around if you wanna get to know me.
I done been through a lot. I done been through a lot. I'ma find my way. I done been through a lot. Yeah, you know how it go. I've been low, I've been high. Stacking up the paper, then I make it multiply. Baddie by my side, there's some smoke in the sky. I'ma get mine, everything in due time. Yeah, you know how it go.